Donald Trump indicted again, this time on charges related to the Capitol riot.
I did everything right and they indicted me.
Except it is like
I did everything right and they indicted me.
Ladies and gentlemen, do not adjust your television. It is really 2023, and for the first time in history, a president is being indicted and will face criminal charges. This is all just such great news, such great news.
I was proven even more right than I would have ever imagined, because apparently, there is actually indicting my father. So,
great orange leader. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe prayer does work.
This is like communist level shit. 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 This is like communist level shit.
Great orange leader. Dear God. God forbid, Donnie boy. God forbid, Donnie boy. Great orange leader. Dear God. God forbid, Donnie boy. God forbid, Donnie boy.
This is like communist level shit. This is like communist level shit. This is like communist level shit. This is like communist level shit.
I think that's about all we need to hear.
I did everything right and they indicted me.
Welcome, everybody. It is an historic night in America and in the world. The tetradited, failed former President Donald Trump is moments away from landing at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta Airport in Atlanta, Georgia, from which point he will make the 14-mile trip over to Fulton County Jail, where security is high, and Trump will be arrested. He will be booked. It is believed there will be a mugshot, although some mild controversy does remain as to whether that is or isn't going to be the case. And it is going to be really, it's not the start and it's not the end, but the continuation of what may be the end of the political career of the failed former president, and potentially the beginning of the end, quite frankly, of his public life, as even a fraction of the jail sentence, prison sentence that Trump is facing for an obese 76 or 77-year-old man who doesn't exercise and eats terribly would effectively be a life sentence. That is where we are today, and it is such an acute pleasure to be joined by all of you. We are expecting Trump to land any minute, having taken off, when did he take off? About 5:15 from Newark. It's roughly a couple-hour flight. I believe maybe a little less in Trump's private jet. It is, with traffic, a half hour from the airport to the jail, but Trump will probably have some kind of escort that will push other vehicles aside, sort of like Trump did to other world leaders in that wild group photo at the infamous event in 2017, I believe it was. And then Trump is going to indeed be booked. Remember that unlike in the first three indictments of Trump, the booking and the arraignment will be separate. Trump will not be arraigned today. The arraignment is scheduled for September 8th, which is, I think it's exactly 2 weeks from today. 2 weeks plus a day. I guess it's Friday, September 8th. Tentatively, Trump is going to be arraigned in court. In Georgia, unless a judge says no cameras, the belief is there will also be cameras in the courtroom, which is just such a pleasure. Now, do people want me to address the issue of Trump's weight before we go any further? Is that something anybody wants me to? Oh, by the way, actually, I shouldn't even say that. Well, no, I guess I will. George Conway here is on the panel. And I received a beautiful message from George Conway's daughter, Claudia Conway, yesterday that she joined us for the Republican debate on the stream. And she really enjoyed the debate and was in the audience. And that was a great thing. I don't know whether she communicated to George or Kellyanne, who, of course, in the process of separating, that David Pakman show may be something to watch. Okay, listen, here's the deal as far as the weight goes. I received a beautiful email from a sergeant who works in the Georgia jail system. And the sergeant told me, David, don't get your hopes up about learning Trump's real weight, because usually what they go by is either if you have a driver's license from a state that lists weight, they just go by that and you can lie on that. As many people know, on my license, on my driver's license, it says I'm 5'9", because they were just like, how tall are you? And I was like, I want to be 5'9", put 5'9" down. They didn't measure me. You understand what I'm saying? And similarly, there may be an inaccurate weight if there is weight on Trump's license. At this point, I don't know what state Trump's license is from. But more importantly, they just ask you. They don't actually weigh you, according to this sergeant from Georgia. So to the degree that we're hoping to learn Trump's real weight, which is not 239, obviously, I don't know that we're actually going to learn it today. Okay, so that is just sort of like an FYI. I can't believe, how many of you were here last night? Last night, we set multiple records. We reached 254,000 live concurrent viewers on the debate stream last night. That's a record for us. We had 1.1 million different people watch the live stream, and 1.4 million have seen the archive of yesterday's stream, putting us at 2.5 million views on that video in not even 24 hours. And if you go back to the very beginning, we have never had more new YouTube subscribers on any single day than we did last night. 26,000 new YouTube subscribers just yesterday. It is unbelievable. And so with gusto, kicking off what I believe to be officially the start of the 2024 presidential race, as far as we are covering it, thank you to everybody. And make sure to hit that subscribe button today. We've got a long way to go, but not quite as long as we had before when it comes to getting to 2 million, which will just be a stunning number if and when we ever get there. And if I have something to say about it, we will. Let's go live to the scene of the arrest. Here is Marjorie Taylor Greene being interviewed live.
Oversight into her office. That was a law that had been passed here in Georgia, and that's exactly what they need to do. And then another thing that'll be happening, and this is really important, is our Judiciary Committee is launching an investigation not only into Fani Willis, but also other state DAs and their coordination with the federal government and the Department of Justice.
And so we look forward to that. You know, President Trump put out this on Truth Social, you come after me, I'm coming after you, and we know retribution is coming.
Well,
some would call that witness tampering and witness intimidation.
Over who needs to go down.
I need to see that list. I'm sure it's pretty long.
Well, let's get him back in the White House, and we'll watch it publicly. Yeah.
And so we have a lot of people surrounding us right.
This guy behind, I believe this is a rapper named Forgiato Blow. Or is this Jimmy Levy? I don't remember.
You're supporting Donald Trump. It was good to see him in Florida, good to see people in New York, good to see people in D.C. You see the same 4 agitators, paid agitators, like I told you we're always going to see. And it just shows, people are just tired, they're fed up. And a lot of people who don't support Donald Trump are starting to support Donald Trump because these indictments. These indictments are...
No, they're not. That doesn't seem to be happening like at all. All right, let's discuss a couple other things here. Where do I even start? Man, there's just so many different things going on. I did get an unprecedented amount of hate mail after yesterday's live stream. I think just because there were so many viewers who just wanted to see the debate. They didn't like me. They were right wingers. Dozens and dozens of emails from people saying, I'd better shut my damn mouth during future live streams. I'd better shut my damn mouth. People thinking they're going to tell me how to run my stream on my channel, which is very, very funny. Listen, guys, go watch the arrest. Go watch the arrest of your Great Orange leader somewhere else if you don't like it. You don't have to be here. It's optional to be here. Let's look at some super chats. Roach Red says, what legally has to happen to bar someone from running for president? Conviction? I'm not even going to touch that because legal experts are currently sort of exploring what are the different circumstances that would get Trump barred from holding public office? And they don't all agree. They don't all agree. So I'm going to withhold judgment on that. Glassy says, thank you so much for playing my song. Means a lot. I think there's something up with your sound. Let me know if I can help somehow. Oh, was one of the songs sort of like, did it have an echo where it almost sounds like the song is playing twice? Did that thing happen during the first song I played? It's fine now. Damn, that's just a setting thing. That's unfortunate. I know exactly what causes that. I can easily fix that. That's my fault. Very, very easy to fix. Apologies about that. Thank you for the $50 super chat, Fred. Appreciate it. Discman says, David, sir, with tears in my eyes, the biggest, tremendous tears, I'm drinking my finest wine and toasting your health. Happy, huge, amazing mugshot day. Nobody's ever seen mugshots like this one. Cheers. Let's see if there's a mugshot. We don't yet know. KG says, I met an engaged couple days before their wedding and we really hit it off. I did everything right and they invited me to their wedding. That's nice. That's a nice story. I like that. The Progressive American says the people defending Trump like this are completely removed from reality. The law must prevail. Thank you, David, for the coverage. I agree with you completely. And thanks to LaDonna Wright for the super chat. Very much appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a coupon code tetradited. It means indicted 4 times. People are dumping in memberships with that coupon code. Welcome to Jason Sickmeyer, Senator Larry Craig, Leonardo Aguirre, and Spencer Hoiback, who just signed up on my website. We have a modest goal today of 100 new members and Twitch subscribers. JoinPacman.com is the place to do it. And I would love it if you signed up using one of those coupon codes. That is a 757, but it is not Donald Trump's. And this photographer apparently jumping the gun. But indeed, Donald Trump is expected to land in Atlanta any moment. He will then make his way over to the jail where he is going to be booked, and we will have the full coverage if indeed the mugshot is released. And if there is a mugshot and it is released, we should have it pretty quickly. Jer Bear says, keep up the great work, David. I will be a member of your show for 6 months on Monday. Well, thank you, Jer Bear. I appreciate that. Ram Stein says, impressive growth, sir. Very powerful. Thank you. Yeah, the fake news media won't tell you about the growth we're seeing. Matt says, are some of the introductions in the streams going to be available to members? They're great. Yeah, not only that, we were actually going to release an album on Spotify yesterday, timed with the first debate. Something glitched with the release. We're using the service CD Baby, and it's not published, and we're trying to troubleshoot why. I was really hoping to be able to release that album yesterday. It's a sad thing. Thanks to Equality for All for the super chat. Fran Cam says, do you think the Fulton County Jail has good water pressure? He only needs 11,000 PSI. Give him a break. Listen, it would be a fascinating thing for Trump to learn just how strong or weak the water pressure is in Georgia jails. Mitchell Eastham says, so I think the Sickmeyer person signs up on almost every stream. Is it a secret code? Do I win a mug or sweater for catching it? Yeah, Jason Sickmeyer has been donating memberships for a long time. So here's the deal. If you want a membership but can't afford one, go to davidpakman.com/free membership and just type in your email address, and then you'll get on the list for free memberships. So do not email me. If you want a free membership, go to davidpakman.com/free membership. If you are fortunate enough to be able to donate a membership, go to joinpakman.com, click the This is a Gift box when you check out, and then your gifted membership will be given to someone who's on the waiting list. That's the way it works. It's quite simple and very, very exciting. Thanks to Mike Manor for signing up on my website. You are new member number 11. And also huge thank you to Pinoy Knight and Stoic Stranger, as well as The Possible Noob and Crowbars Forever for the Twitch Prime subscriptions. People getting very, very excited about what we are potentially going to see tonight. And I have to tell you, I'm pretty damn excited about it myself. And it's not that I want to lock up innocent people. Remember, this is not a detail that I'm about to give you. The right loves to say, lock them up, lock them up, lock them up, like lock her up, Hillary, Obama, Biden, Obama, whoever. And we say, do we need evidence? Do we need an indictment? Do we need a trial? Do we need a conviction? Do we need sentencing before we lock people up? I am for law and order.
If you care about law and order.
I do. I care about all of it. And so it's not that this gives me pleasure because I'm saying lock Trump up. We have identified that the justice system is functioning in the sense that there was enough evidence to say, let's investigate Trump. That investigation said, well, we should probably show this to a grand jury. The grand jury said, we believe there's enough evidence for an indictment. We have an indictment. We just want due process. The next step is booking, arraignment, and then a plea or a trial. And depending on that, depending on Trump's convictions, then I would say, well, sentence the guy in accordance to what the law says. That is law and order.
If you care about law and order.
Lock him up, lock her up is not law and order. And that is the message that I have for you today. Let's look at some more of these super chats, which are dumping in almost faster than I can keep up with them. Thanks to April Marie for the super chat. Weston says, appreciate you always keeping us informed, David. Thanks for making it so much easier for us to understand the reality of what's happening in America. Well, thank you for those kind words. I appreciate that. Connor says, would Trump star I've be tangoed in jail? Would Trump star I've be tangoed? Man, I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. Wendy says Trump will arrive in absolute luxury of his private jet to drop down into cold jail facilities. What a wake-up call for him. It really is. It really is. I went to a party for people I don't like. I did everything right and they invited me. If Trump is convicted and sentenced to jail, how insane do you think the MAGA meltdown tantrum will be? It'll be of historic proportions. It will be something out like you have never seen before. The Biddy says, keep up the good work. Kind regards from Leeds, UK. I have a cousin who lives in Leeds, UK, and hopefully I'll visit soon. I might be making my courageous and brave return to the United Kingdom in November, at which point I may make a pilgrimage to Leeds. David, where do you stand on seed oils? This is a very dangerous, on the internet right now, talking about seed oils. You do it at your own risk. Does anybody care to hear my opinion about seed oils? Anybody? Should I weigh in on seed oils or should I not take the risk of being canceled? Oh, people don't care my view on seed oils. Good. I can just skip it altogether. Oh, no, people are asking for my opinion. So here's my view. There are content creators getting gigaclicks by saying seed oils are inflammatory and bad for the body. That if you hit the body with seed oils, that it's bad for the body. My best understanding right now is that is based on non-human studies. It's based on petri dish studies involving cells, and that in fact, the few studies we have about seed oils in the body shows that they either have no effect on so-called inflammation or may actually reduce inflammation. So that is my view right now. I'm willing to change my view if you give me some good human studies, in the body studies about seed oils. Here is Donald Trump's 757 approaching Atlanta International Airport. As I mentioned earlier, it's about a 14-mile drive from the airport to the jail at which Trump will be turning himself in. For normal people, like when I rent a car and stand in line and get offered 3 different types of insurance for the rental car and don't have traffic cleared, it's about a half-hour drive. For Trump, who will have a former presidential escort, we can expect the trip to take probably more like 20 minutes. So it is totally plausible that Donald Trump will be booked and potentially mugshotted sometime between 7:30 and 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time. That is 20 or so minutes from now. That is where things stand at this particular moment. I want to say a huge thank you to Chuck Fink, Logan Gilbo, and Michael Georgiariou for signing up on my website, joinpacman.com. We are a program primarily supported by our audience. I also want to say thank you to Jeff in Boston for gifting 5 Twitch subscriptions and Kraken Zero for gifting 10. That puts us at 34. And then a number of other people grabbing some individual memberships over on Twitch. And we really appreciate all of it. Everybody who is here, I am so appreciative. Even the haters still appreciate you being here. Without you, we wouldn't know that there are such whacked out, dangerous people in the world. But now we do, which is an exciting thing. Let's look at a couple of other super chats here. This guy doesn't care about pollution with his big plane. Yeah, Trump doesn't care about pollution. That's true. Trump's already joking about running away to Russia. Could we get so lucky? I know if Trump went to Russia, I would kind of go like, cool, get him out of here. It sounds fine. Oh, I'm being told that the CNN feed is very much behind. Let's reset it. That's a fair point. Let's see if we can get this thing rebooted.
Here we go. To obviously come out of his Boeing 757 and make his way down the stairs. And I'm sure there will be a motorcade that will take him and his entourage, to including his new lawyer. Was that his new lawyer? Was that Stephen Sadow?
Tell from the back.
Sadow. We know that it was Susie Wiles, hit one of his aides. And so I along with someone we think is Stephen Sadow, his new attorney. Andy, go ahead, James.
Just one quick note. I mean, just as we're looking at these pictures here of Trump coming down, there are a lot of the trappings of the presidency, most notably the Secret Service that he still maintains. But
as any ex-president,
as a former president,
yeah.
But the reason that we are here is because he is not the president anymore, despite what he wants to believe. He likes people to call him Mr. President, all of that. He's not. And he's facing charges because he doesn't have that umbrella of protection anymore that he enjoyed when he was the president of the United States. That, too, I think, is very jarring for Trump in a moment like this, as he does this now for the 4th time.
And Andy McCabe, one of the points we were talking about earlier, we were talking about of the 19 defendants, including Mr. Trump, Harrison Floyd, the former head of Black Voices for Trump, who has been indicted and turned himself into authorities having to do with his alleged harassment of Fulton County election official Ruby Freeman. He did not negotiate his bond agreement, so he may end up spending tonight in the Fulton County jail, a notorious
couldn't happen to a nicer
jail.
guy.
Trump and his
really
allies like to talk about a 2-tier system of justice. They think Republicans get overly prosecuted as opposed to Democrats. But that's really an example of the 2-tier system of justice. You were making the point.
Yeah, it really is, Jake. I think it stands out in particularly stark relief in these circumstances because
All right, so moments from now, Donald Trump will be en route via car to his 4th arrest, and it is going to be quite a night. I'm so glad that you are joining me. It is so great to see so many of you. And this really is, it's an incredible, incredible moment, historic in so many different ways. A national disgrace, as some in the chat are saying, is Trump. Remember, the fact that there may be accountability is not disgraceful. It's a good thing. The disgrace is that Trump ever became president and the things that he did and is accused of doing while he was president of the United States. That's the disgrace. Thanks to Swayze Bucks and Girl Jessie for the Twitch Prime subscriptions, and welcome everybody watching on Twitch. I do apologize that yesterday we had to pinch off the Twitch stream as well as the Facebook stream and only stream on YouTube from the standpoint of the debate. It was, we calculated, the safest thing that we could do as far as copyright strikes go. But tonight we will remain live on Twitch and live on Facebook as well as YouTube. So it's, I think, hopefully a different sort of stream. So many people are signing up on the website that I can't even name everybody. Jesse Phillips is one of those people, but 10 new members in total. If you're just joining us, this is the 4th indictment of Donald Trump. In order to commemorate this historic moment, we've created the coupon code tetradited, meaning indicted 4 times. I can't take credit for that. Some of our viewers came up with that yesterday. If you don't like that coupon code, or it's just complicated for whatever reason, you can instead use the coupon code 4 years, 4 indictments. That also works at joinpacman.com. It is so easy to sign up and support the work we do. I encourage everybody to do it. Also, a record number of new members yesterday, in addition to being an insane day, 26,000 new YouTube subscribers. It's crazy. And it was without even this man participating in yesterday's debate. Here is the failed former President Donald Trump, grinning and smirking and walking down the stairs, saying, "Thank you very much, if my lip reading serves me," entering some kind of Chevrolet SUV, and soon to be making his way to the county jail, where he will make his first step in this historic 4th criminal case. What a moment. What a moment. And there is the motorcade with an ambulance, and you never want to be you can't be too careful. You can't be too careful. Standard for an ambulance to be part of a president or former president's motorcade. This is not expected to be a particularly long engagement at Fulton County Jail, but it is expected to be extraordinarily significant. Extraordinarily significant. Voicemails are pouring in about what we are watching. Let's listen to a couple as we watch.
Hi, David. This is my view on seed oils. So I've been a big fan of yours for a number of years. The bed head to the left side of your hair doesn't bother me at all. Cool. And I want you to have my seed oils in your helix.
Wow, that's pretty exciting stuff.
I think this Trump arrest, in a way, is a distraction because even though it's necessary, more time could be spent on helping people financially, giving people the right guidance to improve their financial situation.
Yeah, I don't tend to like these arguments. It's like, yeah, instead of streaming anything, I could always just be giving personal finance advice. But like, it's a news and politics channel, and this is a completely historic event, the likes of which we've never seen before and may never see again if we're smarter about who we elect. So I'm not big on those sorts of arguments. I mean, like, yeah, sure, we could be talking about something else. I don't know.
I flew through Hartsfield Jackson once. It's a pretty busy place. So, but you're right. They probably have an extra.
All right. Something about the airport is very busy, but I don't know. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. Off goes the motorcade. Off goes the motorcade. And 14 miles to the county jail. And we are going to follow it all the way there. You are witnessing history right now, ladies and gentlemen. This is the failed former president, twice impeached, 4 times indicted, making his way to Fulton County Jail to be booked. And we hope, why do we hope? Because nobody should get special treatment. We hope mugshotted as well in the 4th criminal proceedings against the former president. Trump opting yesterday. Oh, by the way, and civilly liable rapist Trump. I think it's important to mention that. Yes, it was not a criminal conviction, but civilly liable rapist Donald Trump. That's part of it. And I see, people in the chat, David, you're disgusting. What are you talking about? It's what it is, folks. Civilly liable rapist, civilly responsible rapist. That's what it is. That is what Trump has been determined to be by the justice system we have. Oh, it's all weaponized, really? The civil courts and federal criminal courts and state criminal courts in multiple places and the pollsters and the DOJ. It's all weaponized. Come on, guys. You're living in a fantasy world. You really are. Big thank you to Jennifer Klatcher, Sean Laborde, Patrick Strelka, and Oliver Hurahan for signing up on my website. Also, thanks to Jesse and Frank for gifting some memberships on my website. What a great group of people we have here today for the second night in a row as we are just moments away from Trump being booked. Let's look at some of the other messages that are coming in here. Oh, sorry. And thank you to Chronos Freak and Tofurkeys for the Twitch Prime subscriptions. We love everybody watching on Twitch and everywhere. People asking debate questions. Listen, we did a 3.5-hour stream last night of the debate, and I put out a 20-minute summary of my views of the debate on YouTube. So I think just to not redo the same content time and time again, I'm not going to do any debate commentary now, just because we did so much of it. You know, it's like, how much of the same stuff can you do? This is the news of the day. Yesterday was the debate. We covered it on the podcast today. So I think I'm going to leave it there as far as that goes. Super chat. I really hope they give him a rabies shot at the same time. Yikes. A great day for America, says Nathan. Nobody is above the law. From Argentina, Sean says, saludos desde Buenos Aires. Muchísimas gracias. Always love to hear from people from my birth country, Argentina. David, sir, with even more tears in my eyes, years ago, a brilliant woman showed me your videos to turn me away from fascism, and she's watching tonight. Please say hello to Dr. Lorraine Bowman, PhD. Dr. Bowman, thank you so much. Thank you so much for turning Discman away from fascism. Let's see what else we have here. Meant to say all the coverage this is getting reminds me of Trump's not being on stage during his run USA. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. A few other voicemails are coming in.
Hi, David. Another David here. Do you think they'll remove the bucket of fried chicken from Trump's pocket before they weigh him? We don't want to get an inaccurate count, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, Trump should not be allowed to hold any food while he is being weighed. That's for damn sure.
David, I have a kind of a cool idea. If, of course, Trump gets arrested and thrown in jail and found guilty, he'd have to go to prison, and they'd have to have the Secret Service there.
Yeah.
I think they should have fine him to build himself his own jail.
Yeah, that's been floated before. Other people have floated that to me, which is Trump. If it's by virtue of Trump's own doing that all of this is happening, shouldn't he have to finance all of these special things? He would just grift. He would just grift his supporters out of it. That's the deal. Let's see if we have anything else.
Hey, Davey, just wondering if Brian Tyler Cohen ever weighed in on the allegations that he's hotter than you. Just curious.
You know, Brian called me yesterday or the day before yesterday. We talked about a lot of things. We did not discuss his opinion of whether he is hotter than me. It just didn't come up. That's really it.
Hey, David, this is Ian. Thank you for taking my call, sir. I've been doing a little bit of math, and it looks like the amount of people involved in their conspiracies has now originally passed 81 million.
Exactly. It's the biggest conspiracy that there's ever been. Never been anything like it.
Hey, David, kudos on the streams you've been doing lately. That 3.5-hour stream last night was great. I don't blame you for pinching it off after a 3.5-hour stream. Keep up the good work, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. And thanks to Rusty Wilson, as you can see here, gifting 10 subscriptions via YouTube. Super appreciate that. It all counts, folks. But most important is to sign up on the website using the coupon code Tetradited. I want to say thanks to Nick Williams, Kathy McGowan, Megan Nelson Polk, Hector Guerrero, and Laura Lewis. 71 plus 5, 5 plus 1 is 6, nothing to carry. I think it's 76, but please check me on my math. Super chats and voicemails both continuing to come in.
I hear a lot of commentary on political talk radio, which is almost entirely right-wing, obviously,
of course,
about how, oh boy, wouldn't it be great if this Georgia indictment got moved to the federal court. As far as I can tell, that wouldn't matter. Excuse my French, not at all.
Well, I think the question is, in what way would it matter? And we should definitely go to lawyers for that.
Hey, David, this is the new member, Sean, on the board over here. I just wanted to say thank you for all that you do, man. You are absolutely fantastic. Been a fan for a long time.
Thank you.
And my godfather had an internal combustion whenever I let him know that his man, Howard Stern, is a David Pakman fan whenever he's walking around with his MAGA hat on.
Nice.
So thank you for allowing me that moment of joy at a family event.
That was a big
Thank you, man.
deal.
Keep it up.
That was a huge deal.
Watch this guy, Pac-Man. He's good. Pac-Man. He's Pac-Man, man. A David Pac-Man membership costs $6 a month.
All true. That's Howard himself. That is Howard himself saying it.
Hi, David. I just wanted to say I love your show. My wife and I both love your show, and my wife thinks you're hot.
Wow.
You do great things, and we appreciate you.
Wow.
And if you can say hi, Cam, that would be dope. Love you.
Well, hi, Cam, and hi to your wife as well. A lot of very exciting things going on.
Hey, Dave, it's Gene from Oklahoma. Sitting here with a bag of popcorn, and it's my birthday, so I'm really enjoying watching the Trump show. A long time coming. Give a shout out to my beautiful wife. She's sick.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Shout out to the wife and hope that she feels better very, very soon. Let's listen a little bit to CNN's coverage here as we are moments away from Trump's arrival at the jail.
So he's probably going to be going through the Sally Port, which is where most people go when they're booked into the Fulton County jail. And it almost looks like a big DMV. There are chairs for different areas for processing. There's a place for mugshots. There's a place for fingerprinting.
Sounds
There's
nice.
a place usually to fill out bonding information or your background information, getting all of your information, doing body searches. They probably will not be doing that for the former president. And a lot of this has already been done.
Listen, give the guy the cavity search if he needs it.
These different stations to get his fingerprints and get his mugshot taken.
And what is he going to see as far as the conditions? I mean, the conditions of this jail, they've been under investigation by the Justice Department for how the people who actually have to stay here overnight are treated, overcrowding, violence. But also, I mean, the sheriff said the walls were crumbling. People were creating shanks out of the pieces of the concrete that had broken. I mean, what will he actually physically see?
Oh, the former president will see the true conditions of that jail. I mean, I was there last week, and even going through to the elevator, the floors were flooded. The water, you're having to tiptoe around, and I know that's no different back in the intake area. The intake area is just on the other side of the front entrance to the Fulton County Jail. You can see the walls, the ceiling is leaking. There's a lot of issues with the leaking ceiling. I'm sure he'll see that when you walk in. It smells.
Who's ready for the new Republican cause to be the conditions in our prisons and jails?
So he will feel and see all of that, no doubt.
I do think that's one of the biggest differences. I mean, this case is different in its sweep and its scope because of all the co-defendants, but also in the past, Donald Trump has been able to walk into court and walk out and not really get this sort of experience that you might see other criminal defendants get. And obviously, he's being spared some of that. He's not going to spend hours in there. there like a normal defendant would. He's not going to spend days in there, but he does have to go inside an actual jail for this arrest and processing.
I mean, and even spending just a little bit of time in there. I mean, when we were, Sarah, just outside the courthouse in Washington on the federal charges, I mean, he was irritated because it took 20 or so minutes for him to get fingerprinted. Then he was physically fingerprinted with actual ink, and then he had to go and wash his hands after. I mean, what is that process going to be like? How long do you expect it'll take, even if it is expedited?
I think for him it'll probably be somewhere between 20 to 30 minutes. I mean, typically that area, there are other inmates being processed in. In the Fulton County Jail, there's not a lot of other places to do booking. It's an old facility, so maybe they will.
Folks, if you think Trump was concerned about water pressure before today, just wait and see. Super chats are just pouring in. Thanks to Jody for gifting those 4 subscriptions over on YouTube. Let's see. Chris says, evening from the UK. Wanted to say hi and support the show. Thank you, Chris. Marvo says, hey, David, ignore the trolls. Remember, they're very sensitive and emotional. Their daddy is finally facing the law for his crimes. Very fragile and delicate people whose whole reality is crumbling before their eyes. That is true to a great extent. They are now arriving at the jail. Let's listen.
Of his plane to go and meet with him, to speak with him, as they are potentially meeting for the first time, as Trump was here and meeting him, shaking hands with Susie Wiles as Trump then got on that plane. And just remarkable to see the scene playing out, that a former president is about to walk into this jail.
Okay, they're not quite there yet. It actually may still be another minute or two, but they're at least off the highway. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, it is now the bottom of the hour, and it is the time that the failed former president said he will be arrested. This is taking place in Georgia at the Fulton County Jail. Donald Trump flying from Newark to Atlanta, landing about 20 minutes ago and just down the street from the jail. The booking is expected to take 20 to 30 minutes. There is a sizable presence there, but it is unclear if it is mostly supporters or mostly just press. We hopefully will get a sense of that soon. I would love for you to do me the favor of just hitting the subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. Make sure to follow if you're watching on Twitch. Make sure to like if you're watching on Facebook. These things are free. We could get to 1.87 million today. We're only about 600 subscribers away. And as you all know, from 187 to 188 is really not very far. So we're going to keep a very close eye on these numbers that the fake news media...
4 indictments, the latest one right here in Atlanta. As we said, he is moments away of arriving to that courthouse. And this looks like the first patrol car from that motorcade may be arriving at the Fulton County Jail right now. I do want to let our viewers know in about 20 seconds or so, I'm going to hand this over to my colleague and good friend Lester Holt, who's going to pick up our network coverage for everything that's going to happen here in Fulton County.
All right, Trump moments away. Shout out to Uriel's sister, Brittany. Yeah, sure. Big thank you. Folks, I can't even thank everybody signing up. I apologize, but it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 new members signing up, putting us at 99. Who wants to be number 100 today at joinpacman.com? It is a truly historic day. Donald Trump about to pull into jail where he hopefully will be mugshotted and booked, fingerprinted, will have to wash his hands. What an injustice. That is all happening right now. Let's listen to Lester Holt.
That's a live aerial view right now of the motorcade as it makes its way toward the jail. The process the former president will undergo is what many of his co-defendants have already gone through.
My favorite name here is Kenneth Cheesebro.
And the 18 other defendants are accused of engaging in what the DA called a criminal enterprise to overturn Georgia's election results. All have been charged with violating the state's racketeering or RICO law, often used to prosecute organized crime. This is the 4th time the former president has surrendered to authorities this year, but this time will be different than the other 3. Well, he will be processed and released on a $200,000 bond tonight. He will still need to be in court in 2 weeks to be formally arraigned, though it's not clear if he'll return in person or show up remotely. As we look at this picture of the motorcade, let me bring in Blaine Alexander outside the jail.
What a day. Truly, truly, what a day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to David Fuchs, our newest member on the website. Let's look at some additional super chats. Rosalind Seville says, hi from Leeds. Shout out to my partner, Natasha, who has watched every Trump arrest on your show with me. It has become somewhat of a tradition. How insane is the world when watching Trump be arrested on my channel becomes a tradition? That is really something else. Here is the motorcade arriving. As you can see, people lining the streets in Georgia, a heavy police presence. You see a bail bonds advertisement right there. It is, after all, right by a jail, making the left turn now with quite an extensive motorcade, including local deputies, Secret Service, and ambulance and press, and really now just on the edge of the Fulton County jail compound. I don't know how clearly we are going to see Donald Trump exit the vehicle. Oftentimes it's sort of stage managed so that you really don't see very much. Quite a show of force here of police motorcycles. These may be the people that Donald Trump often says had tears in their eyes over what they made them do. Big, strong, burly guys, but they were crying. They said, sir, sir, you don't even know how sad we are about what they're making us do here. Here is the motorcade passing the NBC News reporter. Just a lot of action, a lot of action here. It is really hard to believe everything that is going on. But it is going on. Let's listen.
Blaine, earlier there were supporters of the former president as well as some protesters protesting against him. Is the crowd nearby?
Well, they've been on both sides. The larger crowd is on the other side, not the side where he's coming in. But there, Lester, we saw some good 50, 60 people standing outside in oppressive heat, mind you. We're talking about record high temperatures here in Atlanta. Some people drove from some 9 hours wearing Trump T-shirts, carrying signs, Trump 2024 signs.
That's called a cult.
Telling me that they wanted to be out here to show their support for the former president. Now, I should point out this street has been locked down, so nobody other than media and a high number of security can actually be here. Law enforcement can be here on this street. So many of the protesters that we saw driving through earlier have had to move elsewhere. But we understand from our teams on the other side of the courthouse, rather on the other side of the jail, that before this was locked down, you certainly saw a large number of supporters, a large number of people who wanted to make their presence known, Lester.
Yeah, obviously we're going to keep this shot up. We're not sure if we'll see the former president when he exits and goes into the jail. While we watch this, let me bring in NBC News senior legal correspondent Laura Jarrett. Laura, flurry of activity today regarding the timing of a trial.
It seems as though Trump is going to get out of the car underneath this overhang, and so we may not even see Trump. I believe Trump, well, maybe not, actually. Let's see.
Is sort of behind a fake elector scheme, that scheme to put forth those pro-Trump slates of electors. His name is Ken Cheeseborough. He put up a demand and said, I want to take this case to trial. I have a right to a speedy trial. And the district attorney had to respond in kind. Under Georgia law, she has to honor that. And the judge set the date for October 23rd. But that doesn't mean that date will necessarily stick. We all know that these things are unpredictable, and it may be the case that it gets pushed out. And it may also be the case that he goes it alone. He doesn't have to be tried with any other defendant, Lester.
All right, we're watching the motorcade. It's made its way to a carport there, so we're not sure we'll see him or if he will exit the vehicle under that carport out of sight. Kristen Welker also with us, our senior Washington correspondent, Hallie Jackson. Kristen, let me start with you. There is a sense that this was choreographed in terms of the president really kind of calling the shots here, the former president, in terms of when this would occur.
Well, and it's notable that what happened last night was the first GOP primary debate. And now here he is turning himself in, not 24 hours afterwards, to some extent, really capturing the spotlight, if you will, Lester. Look, I've been talking to folks who are inside his orbit, and they are striking a very defiant tone. He did this online interview last night that got 200 million views. They've been touting that.
Yeah. It almost, it's very, so, you know, for a while now, it's been reported that the view numbers for Tucker's show on Twitter are completely bogus. I've not said anything about it because it's just sort of like whatever. The idea that Tucker's interview with Trump got 236 million actual views in 24 hours is it's obviously not true. Like, who could possibly believe that? Who could possibly? That's the entire, it's 2/3 of the population of the United States, including kids. It's just such nonsense. The numbers on those Twitter Tucker videos are obviously juiced. It's laughable. It's actually laughable.
The mugshot, most people would think of that as a negative, but the way he has been embracing his fate here, for his own election chances, kind of changes everything.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it, if it happened, sold on T-shirts in his merch store, Lester, because that has been part and parcel of the tone from Team Trump all along. They see this as political persecution, and that's how they've been casting it and framing it to supporters of the former president. To the point that Kristen's been making on the optics, it is extraordinary here. Whether we get a mugshot or not, we have been looking live now at the former leader of the free world at an active jail. This is not a federal courthouse. This is not ceremonial. I mean, this is the real deal. This is where a lot of defendants go to end up booked, just like Donald Trump, who not only is the former president, but is the current Republican frontrunner. There is a political risk here. We've talked about it a bit. In the primary, most Republicans are standing by the former president. We have seen that.
All right, so we are now, my guess is Trump's going to get out of the car in the carport, and we're not actually going to see him. Super chats continue to come in. Daddy Beef says, Recedes love Trump arrest. Speaking of which, I don't know if Recedes is a restaurant or something, but I got some emails after yesterday's stream that there were bars and restaurants in different parts of the country who had our stream on. If that's the case, if that's going on and this is playing in any bars or restaurants and people are watching in groups, somehow let me know. I would love to shout those out. That's an exciting thing. Let's listen to a couple of voicemails about what we're seeing.
So how do I actually get on the phone? This isn't calling. This is just a voicemail. I'm gay and I'm trans.
Okay. I mean, that's not a super interesting voicemail.
David, sir, Howard Stern is a big fan of yours. He could be watching this live stream right now. How about a shout out to Howard? How about a Baba Booey?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Baba Booey. That sounds good. All right, other super chats coming in. David, just signed up on your website. Thank you for speaking on objective truths in the midst of this historic craziness that we are living in. Informal poll, okay? Informal poll, just a chat poll. Will this arrest help or hurt Trump in the polls? What do people think who are watching? Help or hurt? Hurt or help? More help than hurt, it seems, as far as Twitch goes. And more 50-50 over on YouTube, interestingly enough. Yeah, I'm not pretending to know the answer. I just am not sure. I mean, we can look at where the polling is right now. And the polling right now is Trump 55, DeSanctimonious 14, Ramaswamy 7. Nobody else gets higher than 4. So listen, let's give it 10 days and see how the polling changes. I don't pretend to know whether this is going to help or hurt Trump. Let's listen to some of the interviews taking place in Georgia outside the jail, including this one with Blacks for Trump.
So I'm not trying to show off. I don't need him to get rich because I'm already rich. Ooh. I got my own money and I raised my own money. Yes.
You're a hardworking American.
Yeah, a real black man who's a real American. And all I want is Trump to give me liberty or give them death, because they are the ones that are breaking every rule and law. They're scared to say that, but that's what James Madison meant when he said it. Otherwise, he wouldn't have pulled a pistol on the British and shot him. He wants freedom. Trump wants freedom. He's the only one standing up for the black man and the white European Gentiles. I love him desperately because he put his life in jeopardy for us. That's why
you guys heard that, right? That was anti-Semitic. Did that go over the heads of anybody? Did people notice that one? Trump is standing up for white European Gentiles, very specifically excluding Jewish folks from that. Not a shock that Blacks for Trump is an anti-Semitic group.
Boy, you can't even get a phone.
And by the way, the host is just like, whatever, yeah.
No federal indictment. They don't want to talk about it. So I'm showing them that boo didn't work. We here, and we going to stand for Trump forever, and we want him to be president for even ever. Because you know what? They cheated on the election, so we might as well have him president forever.
Right.
I'll show him how to eat right and live forever. Don't worry about that.
That's democracy.
But Trump is absolutely the greatest president in America's history. RSBN has been one of the greatest. It's between OAN and you guys that I think are the best. Newsmax is okay, but they edit me as much as they possibly can. But I've done a lot of great interviews with RSBN.
Yeah. All right. So as this is going on, Donald Trump indeed has surrendered. Donald Trump has surrendered. Let's reset our CNN feed to make sure we've got the latest feed. People in the audience titillated and excited. George says, in the end, this will hurt Trump in the polls. In the end, this will hurt Trump in the polls, says George. And many share that view.
Because you're paying a bail bondsman a fee just to sign your bail. So typically somebody will either put up their own cash, especially somebody who's wealthy. They'll make a deposit.
And it's only 10% that you have to put up, right? $20,000?
They'll get the money back.
That's got to be like in his sofa change for Donald Trump,
so
you'd think.
Or in the change of his giant plane that he just
Right,
right,
it costs
exactly.
more than that to come out. So it is unusual to see that. Some people put up a property bond if they live in the state or in the county where the jail is, but here, this is to have him use a bail bondsman is different.
Why would he do such a thing?
I feel like I'm watching really a campaign trip as opposed to a court trip. And so for everything from the number of the cars in the Secret Service detail to the sort of the fascination with the plane coming in and the big production. And I'm not sure that it doesn't play into the narrative of me as the victim and I'm being victimized and so I'm doing this. That's the only thing I can come up with. It would make sense to do it because it's just a financial.
I'm going to put you on our political panels.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
You just nailed it.
Like you remember the back of the shirts for the Bad News Bears, they were sponsored by a bail bondsman. I agree that was the sponsor.
I mean, maybe he just didn't want to hand over his own money to
20 grand. But you're paying $2,000
There are smaller
fees
things that John Lewis would throw a fit over.
Sometimes you pay more than that. Sometimes you pay 10% of the bond amount.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a
lot.
hefty fee.
But even to your point about getting off the plane and seeing the press running from one part to the motorcade, I mean, that's stuff that you really only see when it is the actual president. It's just not typical for a former president to have that kind of arrangement of a press pool and all of that.
By the way,
part of the theatrics of it.
When he came down from the plane and he said something to the cameras we couldn't hear, he said, "Thank you very much,"
I mean,
to the press pool.
He's used to coming off that plane and having people.
All right. If you're just joining us, Donald Trump has surrendered to Fulton County authorities. He is being arrested and booked. We will soon know whether there is a mugshot. We may soon see the mugshot if such a mugshot is going to be taken. And it really will be a unique and historic moment in American history. I want to say thank you to Travis Lee and Maureen Walniak, who just signed up on my website, joinpacman.com. The generosity and the support from the audience over the last 2 days has been incredible. Thanks also to Caroline Forty, who is the newest member and number 125 today. The expectation is that this entire thing will take only 20 to 30 minutes, meaning Trump may be done in 10 to 20 minutes, at which point we expect he will get right back in the same vehicle, part of the same motorcade, and go back to the airport to fly back to Jersey, maybe getting back to New Jersey as early as 10 or 10:15 p.m. Again, this is all depending on how long this ultimately takes. Let's listen to a few more voicemails. So many people calling in.
Hey, Dave. Long-time fan of the show. My buddy originally got me into you. Oh my God, this is just a great day. I think I might go have some watermelon. Have yourself a fantastic day.
Watermelon is absolutely, I would consider it one of the best fruits. I don't know where people in the audience will fall on that, but watermelon is a top fruit. I would consider mango a top fruit. Certainly Granny Smith apples. I'm big on raspberries as well. But watermelon is, if it's a good watermelon, when you get a bad watermelon, it really is just a bummer. Really, really just a bummer.
Hi, David. This is Chandler calling from Ontario, Canada. Just a quick question. Do you still think that Trump won't actually ever see the inside of a jail cell? That's it. Thank you.
I think Trump may see the inside of a jail cell today, but as far as being locked up, I just am not sure at this point in time. I think the chance that Trump ends up doing time is higher now than I thought 6 months ago. That's for sure. Yeah.
Hey, David, Andrew from California. I was really worried I was going to miss the live stream. I had a meeting with my boss, but managed to hop off that quickly and get to what's really important, which is watching this.
Nice.
Did have a question unrelated to what's going on, if you're willing to answer. Are you familiar with cholent? It's like a Jewish stew. I love it. Everyone makes it kind of differently, which is what makes it cool. I just wanted to know if you'd ever had it.
I've had cholent. It is not my favorite Jewish food or anywhere even remotely close. Not even remotely close. I rank cholent. Quite frankly, I would choose a good gefilte fish over cholent, to be totally frank. And I know that this will probably cause the loss of half my audience, but it's not big for me. It really isn't.
Oh, great, David. Looks like Trump's, infatuation with, leaky toilets and water pressure. Now he has to deal with water issues at the jail that he's going to today.
Yeah, the leaky jail thing is just, it's just an incredible, incredible little detail. But it is definitely something.
Hi, David. I appreciate your critical analysis of situation. So I have one major pressing question. Pineapple on pizza or no?
It's a no for me, dog. But honestly, I'm a complete lowercase L libertarian on all food stuff. Do whatever the hell you want. I just don't care. Do whatever you want. But put pizza and Swiss cheese and bananas on your pizza for all I care. Don't make me eat it, right? Don't make me eat it. But I don't care what people do. Just don't expect restaurants to cater to you if you're, going with some of these crazy, crazy things.
Hello, Mr. Packman. I was just watching your show when I figured out I'm gay and I'm trans. Thank you.
Really weird stuff. Really, really strange stuff. And then let's see one more.
Hi, David. I'm just trying to find out where I can find your merch because I can't seem to find it anywhere on your website. Thank you.
There is no more David Pakman Show merch. There is no more David Pakman Show merch. We have stopped offering merch. I've talked about this before. The merch was a headache, and I'll tell you why. When someone gets, this is a little peek behind the curtain. If you get a membership on our website and you pay $6, okay? We keep like $5.80, and there's no physical product to ship. There's no carbon footprint. There's no possibility it'll be the wrong size or that it's printed incorrectly. We sell a $25 t-shirt. We paid, I don't remember what it was, $14 for the shirt. So the profit margin is way lower. It's getting shipped. So we've got a carbon footprint that, do we really need that? People would have problems with deliveries in the COVID era. I basically ended up being like a shipping clerk. It didn't make sense. The merch was a distraction from content creation, and we weren't selling enough merch for it to even make sense. So there's no more merch, okay? No more merch. That's it. Make your own t-shirt. Make your own bumper sticker. No more merch. If you have the items that are collector's items, it just makes much more sense to just do the website membership thing. And on that note, thanks to Avery Owen, who just signed up at joinpacman.com. Folks, if you're just joining us, Donald Trump has been arrested. He is currently inside and being booked. We have just reached an incredible milestone, which is 1.87 million YouTube subscribers. Look at this. And Trump will soon be out and presumably on his way back to Georgia. What a day. I thought we had reached 1.7. I think this is taking a moment to catch. There it is. There it is. It really is something to behold today. It is an incredible, incredible thing. Let's listen.
Claiming voter fraud that did not exist, including swearing in notarized documents or sworn testimony about these things that he had been told by his lawyers and his attorney general and the White House counsel, et cetera, were not true.
That's right. And that's also statements by people like Rudy Giuliani acting on his behalf, testifying to the Georgia State Senate and making false statements in that testimony, likely...
Even though he wasn't sworn in, it was still an official proceeding, or...
Correct. So filing false documents. Oh, I'm sorry, false statements in writings. Yeah, conspiracy to commit false statements in writings.
And Donald Trump's record, it now says that he has been released on bond. We should just note, as part of this process, thanks to the bail bondsman, Foster Bail Bonds, LLC, and Charles Shaw.
Trump has been bailed out.
$20,000 up, 10% of the $200,000 bond.
He's been bailed out.
I guess, but for their intervention, he'd be staying the night.
Well, I'm guessing that he would have $20,000, or any member of his very wealthy family would have $20,000.
He'd probably be able to.
It's still a mystery as to why he did this, but okay.
I should say, too, that we've heard from some of the other experiences.
Is it possible Trump is just so cheap that he got a bail bonds person? Is it possible that's just the explanation?
It was greatly truncated or facilitated in different ways.
Which is also, by the way, in the interest of Fulton County Jail. They don't want that security situation going on for a very long time there.
That's
right. What any other charges you want to go through?
So we have solicitation of false, violation of oath by public officer. That's the same one that we had at the top of the list. False statements and writings. That's another repeat. We have solicitation of violation of oath by public officer, and these are just repeats.
Basically, yes, it's the same thing, different people.
Same stuff, different people.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite a list to behold when you look at all the indictments, all the counts that he has been charged with having.
Yeah, and I mean, it reflects the theory of the case from Fani Willis that Trump is at the center of all of this.
As we listen to this, I'm going to check some of my sources to see if indeed we are getting a mugshot.
The RICO charge is the day after the election. And that day after the election could have been literally election night, when at 1 or 2 in the morning, he comes out and makes a false statement.
Oh, no way in hell. No way. Listen to this.
His height and weight, 6'3", 215 pounds. So it's out there.
215 pounds.
1.5.
But did they say that they took it?
Jake Tacker in the back. Jake Tapper. Wait, what? Trump self-reported his weight as weighing 215 pounds. Does anyone here know what a 6'3", 215-pound person looks like? It is not what Donald Trump looks like. That is one of the funniest things that I have ever heard. Does Trump think anyone would believe he weighs 215? He lies about everything. He can't tell the truth about a damn thing.
And that is a political gift to Donald Trump from his perspective and the perspective of the people.
Exactly. Here's a guy who's 6'3", 215, okay? This is what it looks like to be 6'3", 215. I would bet anything that Trump's closer to 315 than 215. I don't care about his weight. It's not about fat shaming. Trump's obese and unhealthy. It's a medical problem, okay? But he's a liar. He's a liar. It would be more convincing to say he weighs 315 than that he weighs 2. What a liar. It's unbelievable. Wow.
And own it as much as he possibly can, because it fits right into his political campaign.
Which will no doubt help him within the Republican primary, but with the majority of the country that views what he tried to do differently.
Wow.
It will not necessarily be a gift.
No,
the motorcade, we should note, is now leaving.
It looks like it's done, and we will follow Trump back to the airport, apparently.
Jackson International Airport in Atlanta. Abby?
And just to note, I mean, on the seriousness of this, I mean, it's obvious, but this case is not going to be easy for Trump to just shake.
No.
He cannot just become president and pardon himself or have someone else pardon him. None of this is going to be easy to shake. So there is going to be a process for this. It's going to be a lengthy, probably legal process.
Right, because we should just note for listeners, a president can pardon himself for federal charges. These are
probably, yes.
Yeah, it's never been tested.
It's never been tested.
But his attorney, he could appoint an attorney general who would then dismiss the cases,
Yes.
but not for
He
state
cannot
charges.
do that in this case. He can't even have the governor of the state of Georgia pardon him. So this is going to be one of those cases that he has to actually get through the whole thing, go through the legal process. Maybe he wins on a motion, has it thrown out. That's possible, but seems unlikely given the stakes here. And that's why this is so serious. It's probably why this case has been, like the Manhattan District Attorney case, those are cases that have been sort of,
All right. So Donald Trump has been arrested and booked, released, hired a bail bondsman. And here's one theory about that.
Here's my theory about the bondsman, okay? Because if you pay the entire bond, you get the entire thing back. But if you use a bondsman, you lose that 20%. But the reason why Trump might be using a bondsman is keeping the option of fleeing open, so that if he does flee, he will keep essentially 80%. Somebody else will get screwed out of the total amount of the bond. Why else would a billionaire use a bondsman?
Yeah. I mean, it's all very strange. It's all very strange. But, significant speculation about the reasons. It's all bizarre, quite frankly.
Hey, David, this is Travis. I follow your show every day. Just want to thank you for all your hard work. It's where I get my news, where I get my analysis.
Thank you.
Don't let those guys bother you from yesterday. I think you did a killer job, and keep up the good work, bud.
Thank you, sir.
Love to donate, and just keep on keeping on.
Appreciate that very, very much. Let's see what else is on people's minds here.
I'm Aiden and I'm 7 years old, and I'm so excited that Donald Trump is getting arrested, and me, my dad, and my stepmom are watching the show right now.
Wow. That is a phone call if I've ever heard one. That kid's got upper management written all over them. I can't even tell if that's a boy or a girl. That is really something. That is amazing.
Hi, David. This is Ben. I'm a truck driver from Idaho. Currently listening to your live stream on the fourth arrest of Donald Trump.
Yes. Okay, and then the entire thing cuts out.
Hola, señor David. Saludos desde Texas. Thank you so much for your coverage, watching you live right now. Are you following, is this true that the Fulton County Sheriff's Office has already released his supposed height and weight?
Yep.
6'3", 215 pounds.
Yeah, we already talked about it. It's self-reported. Trump just saying, I weigh 215. He would sooner weigh 315 than 215. It's totally ridiculous. Honestly, they should be weighing people to prevent this sort of ridiculous lying. It's just crazy. Samantha Lang, as well as Travis Arrington and Wally Sosa, have just signed up on my website, joinpacman.com. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a goal of 250 website members and Twitch subscribers. We are more than halfway there. Help us get there. This coupon code tetradited means indicted 4 times, which is what Donald Trump is. As you see, there are people hanging out on their front lawns watching the motorcade come by. Heavy security presence, the motorcade running every red light in town on their way back to Atlanta Airport here. Donald Trump may make a statement when he gets onto his plane, okay? We are going to be there for it. We are going to be there, and we're going to see. And that is... I mean, listen, I hope he makes some kind of a statement. We will see. I don't know that he will, but it is certainly my hope that we will hear from him momentarily. Voicemails continue to just pour in.
Hey, David. I just wanted to say that according to Forbes data, and the mugshot for Trump won't be out till 4 tomorrow. And I see some people saying it's out in the chat right now. Thank you for all you do. Bye.
Some people are saying that the mugshot is out already. Let's take a look and see if we confirm. Oh, Trump had a mugshot taken.
The co-defendants are getting hit for the first time. So Giuliani's pretty famous.
Meadows is a known figure in the Tea Party sort of MAGA world. Eastman and others maybe a little less so. These are big mugshots, and they're going around the country, and people understand. And then you have Jen Ellis and others, as Rachel reported, saying, oh, we're not even being funded, which creates the notion of a fisher. And then you have the legal precedent I mentioned, which is large-scale RICO cases in this county and others usually involve some convictions. So while we all understand why it's so significant to watch here, this RICO defendant Donald Trump get his booking, the fact that people understand and know that there is, shall we say, consequence and likely more on the way, I think it definitely chills, or as former prosecutor Giuliani would say back when he brought RICO cases, deters crime.
Let me just mention one news point. We do have confirmation here, as you see on your screen, that the former president did have a mugshot taken.
There it is.
Inside the jail. And you see the motorcade starting to move here.
Well, there is a mugshot. One report that it will be released tomorrow at 4 p.m. I mean, listen, we're just going to watch it, and we'll have to wait and see when indeed the mugshot gets released. But the fact that there is one is already such delightful news. Thanks to Savage Travis Gaming for the Twitch Prime subscription. Let's see what's on people's minds as the motorcade joins the highway. Via Super Chat, some unconfirmed mugshots on X. Farron just shared one. Oh, let's see. Farron Cousins Twitter. I still call it Twitter. I mean, listen, I don't know if this is the real mugshot, but it certainly is looking real to me. Is this the real mugshot? Does anybody know? If indeed it is, it's fake. This isn't real. Confirmed fake. Tie was solid red. Okay, fair. All right. That's not real. It's not real. Everybody relax. Thanks to Buckbee Weed Co. for the website membership. Very much appreciate that. David Trump should have fled to Norway, which has refused to extradite to the U.S. because of inhumane prison conditions like those in Atlanta. P.S. I'm gay and I'm trans. P.S. just PPS, just kidding. Oh, I don't even get the joke, honestly. Hi, I'm Annabelle, 9 years old, but don't want to bother you, but you are a great person. Well, thank you, Annabelle. That's very nice. Who's cuter, young David Bowie or young Frank Zappa? Don't know what either of them look like. Don't care. Don't know a thing about it. I think your mic level is a little low, sir. Yeah, this is an ongoing issue. There's something going on with my mic. But what I think I should do is just turn everything else down. That's quite frankly the simplest solution right now. Can you say happy 9th birthday to my daughter, Harper Lee? She loves you. Harper Lee, happy birthday. Happy birthday, and what a historic day on which anyone could have a birthday. Big thank you to Lori DeVoe, Trent Huggins, and Caroline Klein, putting us at 137. Trump is moments from the airport at which he may make a statement. He may make a statement, which is potentially interesting.
David, sir, the biggest question is, where is Melania?
Yeah.
Did she totally just leave him? Love the show.
Listen, I don't really care much about Trump's relationship with the woman that's technically his wife. But my understanding is that after Trump was found civilly liable for rape, when Trump became a civil rapist and started to get arrested on the regular, the reporting is that Melania renegotiated their financial arrangement, is not going to be in any way participating in the presidential campaign of Trump, and is essentially leading a completely separate life. That's what I've read. And I've read one article about it because I really don't care that much. I care about it only insofar as it's interesting with regard to Trump's campaign, but I don't really care about Trump's relationship in that sense. Let's see what else we have here.
Hi, David. I watched your stream yesterday, and it was really useful. I was able to watch the entire debate, and I'm watching your Trump arrest right now. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Hey, David, just watching your live stream, and I'd like to know that I felt report as above the law, therefore I'm not allowed to be indicted or face consequences or anything. Also, just a quick question for you. Do you feel like our entire justice system is predicated on the idea that everyone's going to act in good faith and it's not exactly built to handle someone like Trump or MAGA?
Yeah, to some degree. I mean, I think it could be argued that part of the reason we're in this mess in the first place is that the founding fathers never thought that someone as craven and belligerent as Trump would ever become president, and therefore our checks and balances are simply not strong enough when it comes to the presidency. I think it's that simple. I really do.
Hey, David. Love your show. Great show. With that Bondsman deal, Bondsman might be doing that for cheaper money than the $20,000. He might be just doing that for publicity. You know, it's something to think about. But yeah, he may. You know, he's standing good for that bond, but if he made $10,000, he made $10,000. A lot of bondsmen figure, well, that's better than the other guy getting it. You know?
Okay.
Yeah, about the self-reported weight, I saw Rudy Giuliani was listed yesterday at 5'9", 180 pounds. We know that ain't true.
Yeah, I struggle to believe Rudy's 5'9", 180. I just don't think so.
Hey, David. I just want to say I love and appreciate you and what you do on here. I'm actually the third one in my house that I sent you a voicemail tonight. That includes my stepson, Aiden, which is 7. My husband, who said that I said that you're hot, so hello.
Wow.
And, yeah, we just wanted to tell everyone y'all should definitely subscribe, and y'all should definitely just watch the show more.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, Donald Trump is moments from getting back to the airport. He may make a statement. If he doesn't, he'll get on his plane, and that will kind of be the end of this sad but also historic episode in this entire farcical fiasco, and a deserved one based on Donald Trump's actions. That is the most important thing. It is about a 20-minute ride with a motorcade to the airport, maybe a little bit less. Trump will probably be there in the next 5-ish minutes. I don't know how many people know exactly where they are, but it seems like they're probably pretty close to the airport, would be my belief. I want to say a huge thank you to Mike Saltz, who just signed up at joinpacman.com with the coupon code INDICT. You don't have to use the new coupon code, tetradited. Some people are using old codes, which is fine. Let's go to Super Chats. The Electoral College was established specifically to prevent someone like Trump from becoming president. It has clearly failed. Another reason to go to a national popular vote. Whoever got to take that mugshot must feel like a hero right now. Thanks for the stream. Maybe a hero, but maybe the person who took the mugshot was a big, burly, strong guy who was crying because of what they were making him do, because Trump was treated so unfairly. I don't know. We don't know what the photographer felt. Okay, we did all of those already. So we will go this way. Big thank you to Irina Laterno and Stephen Young for signing up on my website, putting us at 150. Let's do just a couple other voicemails here.
Hey, David. Love the show. Just wanted to say that 215 figure's completely fake. Trump's a fat fuck. Also, can you play the I did everything right and they indicted me, please? Thank you.
Sure.
I did everything right and they indicted me.
Exactly.
Hi, David. This is Natalie from Nebraska, and I very much appreciate your show. And I've never called in before, but I had to when I heard that kiddo share his excitement. The 7-year-old, I believe, was listening or watching the Trump indictment.
Yep.
With his dad and his stepmom, and he was adorable. So if there's a way to reach out to that family again, and if you're interested, I would love to hear more from that kiddo.
Yeah, the thing about, it's just tough with kids. The platforms are very touchy about having kids. I don't even know. For all I know, that was someone doing a voice, right? I don't know that there were any children on this broadcast today. You got to be really careful with that stuff. It is interesting. I agree with you, Natalie. But we just have to be super, super careful.
David Packman.
Oh, that's Troy York. So boring. We don't really care about that. All right. Let's see what else we have here going on.
Hey, Packman. Name's Ian. I've been watching your show for 5 years, maybe more.
Love it.
It's kind of weird how much you're obsessed with Donald Trump's weight. I mean, we know he was lying at 236 or 239 or whatever he said. Obviously, he's lying at 215. But I don't dislike him so much because he's a slob. It's because he's a horrible person. I don't know. It just struck me the wrong way.
Listen, as I've said before, I couldn't care less about what Trump actually weighs. Trump is obese and extremely unhealthy. It's a medical issue, and it's essentially his business beyond the fact of, if you're going to vote for a president, you want to know, are they likely to survive a term? It's the fact that the guy lies about everything and does it brazenly. It could be his shoe size that he's lying about. The point here is he lies about everything. It's not about anything other than that, all right? Everybody relax. Okay, we are back at the airport. We will now see, is Donald Trump going to make a statement? Let's listen.
About this whole idea of, so say we come up to the convention this coming summer, he gets the nomination, or there's some kind of a effort for a brokered convention on the floor. I was there in 2015 when Ted Cruz and folks tried to do that. It is an incredibly uphill battle. It is not something that is easy. It's not something you can do quickly. And with somebody with a sky high of approval ratings with the base of the party, who is doing the delegate math now and who has spent years investing in that, there's virtually no scenario.
I'm sure that Brian, Jack, and the rest of the team they'll have delegate binders. They'll know to a person who's voting for Trump on the floor.
I can't help but think how much easier this could have been, right? If Donald Trump would have stood up and said, I think this election was rigged, and he watched us in Georgia go through recount after recount after recount, and finally got to that moment and said, you know what? I'll come back and win this again. You've done your job, and I'm going to move on. Yeah. We wouldn't have had January 6th. Wow. We wouldn't have completely soiled the Republican brand for maybe decades. We wouldn't have been at this point here. People's lives wouldn't have been train wrecked to the point that they are.
Imagine what his approval rating would be.
Well, and by the way, a bunch of us were advising him in those final days, go around the country, tout your accomplishments, and get vaccines in the arms of as many Americans as you can. Take credit for ending the pandemic and getting people back to work. And he'd be in a much better position to win a general election 100%. Right now.
Just intersecting with the political and legal here, because I get asked this every day, I think it's worth stressing. None of this will disqualify Donald Trump from running for president. You can run for president while you're indicted. You can run for president if you've been convicted. Theoretically, you can run for president from prison. And the other thing that I think is sometimes surprising to people is if you get convicted of a felony in this country, you can in many states lose your right to vote, lose your right to sit on a jury. You definitely lose your right to possess a firearm. That's a federal crime.
All right, so the reason we're on this shot is it's possible that Donald Trump will make a statement or even speak to the media. He may not. We're going to see momentarily.
As a Republican for president.
In terms of the legal battles he is facing, I mean, how much of a person's time is eaten up just dealing with all this stuff?
So a couple things. While you are on trial in a criminal case, you have to physically be there. So whichever trial goes first, whether it's in Florida, D.C., New York, or Georgia, Donald Trump has to be there. And that's in contrast. We saw the civil trial involving E. Jean Carroll a few months ago. He no-showed at that. You're allowed to no-show. Not great strategy, but he will have to physically be in the courtroom.
Why does he have to physically be there?
It's just a rule of criminal procedure. It has to do with the defendant's constitutional rights to be present, to confront the witnesses against him, to present his own defense. So he has to physically, this will take him off
Can somebody waive those rights? Can somebody waive that?
Generally,
if he's willing to waive that right?
Only in extreme circumstances, but I've never
running for president of the United States.
I mean, listen, that would actually be an
seems
interesting
to be the most
argument.
Extreme circumstances.
I will say, though, if I was his lawyer, I would beg him not to do that, because you have a jury who's deciding your liberty, and they do not take it as a sign of respect if you don't feel the obligation to at least show up. The other thing is, preparing for a criminal trial as a defendant ordinarily is a full-time job. You are working around the clock with your lawyers. You have a constitutional right to assist in your own defense. You are helping your lawyers understand the documents, identify the witnesses. Now, it's up to Donald Trump.
And Trump's going to have 4 of those cases plus an election. It's almost inconceivable. Here comes Trump momentarily.
I just want to point out that, again, people, going back to the equal justice point,
Trump is out of the
people's
car.
lives are destroyed just by the charge.
Walking to the media.
Just by the charge. Just the mere fact. Oh, here we go.
Very sad day for America. This should never happen. We challenge an election.
Keep going, Ben. So we're just going to be monitoring his remarks and bring them to you if they're newsworthy.
Well, I'd rather get the remarks if we can. Let's see.
Challenge an election. I thought the election was a rigged election, a stolen election, and I should have every right to do that. As you know, you have many people that you've been watching over the years do the same thing, whether it's Hillary Clinton or Stacey Abrams or many others. When you have that great freedom to challenge, you have to be able to, otherwise you can have very dishonest elections. What has taken place here is a travesty of justice. We did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. And everybody knows it. I've never had such support. And that goes with the other ones, too. What they're doing is election interference. They're trying to interfere with an election. There's never been anything like it in our country before. This is their way of campaigning. And this is one instance, but you have 3 other instances. It's election interference. So I want to thank you for being here. We did nothing wrong at all. And we have every right, every single right, to challenge an election that we think is dishonest, and we think it's very dishonest. So thank you all very much, and I'll see you very soon. Thank you very much.
Listen to former President Trump wrap up his first comments.
There goes Trump sort of lumbering away into his plane, where he will fly back, presumably to New Jersey. This guy right here, I believe, is Walt Nauta, who I don't even think Trump is supposed to have contact with. It's actually crazy. I don't even know how this is not a violation of Trump's bond in other criminal trials, but they're together all the time. Nauta's a defendant himself. I thought they weren't supposed to have contact with each other. But here is a very deflated-looking Donald Trump, hunched over, slowly lumbering into the plane, taking the 4th criminal indictment. He will have 4 trials or plea deals or some combination thereof. Trump with his signature thumbs up and disappearing into the Trump 757, which will shortly take off from Atlanta and presumably go back to New Jersey. Members of the press and media will now walk away and go back to wherever they came from, I guess. I mean, maybe some of them came on Trump's plane. It's not even totally clear to me, but I guess some of them do seem to be heading onto the plane itself. What an absolute and total mess. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. I really appreciate everybody that has joined me. This is going to conclude my coverage. Indictment number 4, the arraignment expected to be September 8th. That will be in court. As of this moment, it is believed that there will be cameras in that courtroom. On your way out, hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Make sure you're following on Twitch. Make sure you've liked on Facebook. It's free. It just makes sure that you'll be notified when we do things in the future. It's been so great to see everybody, and we will be back tomorrow with a new program. And we'll see you at the next indictment, my friends. Thank you very, very much.
I did everything right and they indicted me.
Sure.